Hi guys, welcome to Sunday, our active recovery day for the week. It is June 28th, but it's also July 5th, July 12th, etc., etc. So, since we're doing the same thing every Sunday, I'm not going to keep videotaping the same thing every Sunday. I'm going to post this on the Sundays for the near future, unless I adapt it somehow going forward. But this is going to be the video message. You guys, I want to get into a rhythm and understand the different options we have for active recovery, but I also want you to understand why for active recovery. So the reason why it's active is because we feel like we need to move, we need to directly work on things mobility-wise, recovery-wise with our body to allow it to progress further and get it to recover better. Maybe there's also things we need to fix, like flexibility issues where we would do mobility work, we would do a yoga class, something along those lines. Or maybe we're the person that has a better time recovering from hard workouts if we get up and stay active and do stuff. Versus if I sit on my butt all day, do nothing because I'm sore, because I'm hurting, it's actually going to be worse tomorrow because I haven't got any blood circulating, I haven't worked the muscles, I haven't stimulated anything. So, stress is the big name of the game here. The reason why we are not working out again today, assuming that you guys have all worked out throughout the course of the week, is because at some point stress becomes too much, right? I think we all know where like that top end stress level is, where you're gonna snap kind of a thing. But we don't all know where that next step down level is, where all the stressors that build up sort of overflow and they start to hurt us physically. Forget emotionally, right? They're going to hurt us physically first, which is where the soreness comes into play that doesn't go away, the chronic fatigue, where the increased risk of injury goes up because my body, my legs, let's say, haven't recovered. I haven't given them a chance to heal, right? So for the most part, everybody that works out, at least people that work out in the CrossFit industry, have the understanding that, you don't build muscle when you work out, you build muscle when you recover, right? Because we break down muscle when we're working out, when we're lifting, so to speak. So, if I'm doing a bicep curl, I am damaging my biceps, okay? Depends on which curl, which bicep muscle we're working harder, but we're working them all to some extent. So I'm damaging the bicep itself, right? I'm breaking it down, I'm creating stress. Now, healthy stress versus unhealthy stress in this example. Healthy stress is something that probably comes after I can make that determination, right? So let's say today I did 100 bicep curls, get this massive swole, like everything seems awesome, right? Well, if tomorrow I do it again, and I do it again, and I do it again, not to take into account the outlier adaptations that could occur from some crazy specific programming model. That is essentially what's happening is I'm causing stress that I could have used for a good reason if I would have let that muscle recover and rebuild itself. Awesome. I get benefits from it. Now I might still get benefits from it going forward if I don't let it recover, but chances are multiple times greater that I'm going to continue to do damage to it and it's not actually going to repair itself. It's not going to build itself back up. I'm not actually going to have any gains because I'm just going to keep breaking and breaking and breaking it down. Okay? So whether you realize it or not, recovery is probably the most important thing to you physically getting off your butt and doing the workout itself in terms of getting something from the workout. Now, recovery can be all kinds of things, right? Like there's a full broad spectrum here: food, nutrition, water, sleep, and rest, right? If I'm not sleeping, I'm not resting, my body's not able to actually inhibit all the recovery anyway, in which case it doesn't matter, right? I'm waking up, we feel it usually in terms of energy levels, but essentially the body's not rebuilding itself, okay? So meditation has become super popular recently, and a lot of that has to do with recovery, right? The ability to get our body to down-regulate, to reduce stress, so that physically it's better and more efficient at recovering and healing itself, but also mentally we're able to deal with stress better, therefore our body's able to produce the right chemicals Therefore, our body is able to function better, right? We are a human machine. We're trying to get that human machine to function as efficiently as possible because that will make us as strong and efficient as we can be. So, now that I have preached, and you're going to see this every Sunday, now that I've preached and you guys understand the reason why active recovery, let's talk about the options. First one, if you're super beat up, right? I'm going to give this to you in a spectrum. If you're super beat up, if you worked out 6 days in a row, if you push yourself 6 days in a row, that's fine as long as you're able to recover from pushing yourself 6 days in a row. So, like, you know, the nagging mother thing, maybe you shouldn't have done that, but your recovery needs to be a little bit more recovery. Like, move, get up, do some things, but let's not push ourselves very much at all. Let's maybe even not do an active recovery workout. Let's maybe just get about 10-15 minutes of stretching in. Okay, something that'll get you on, push you a little bit further down the stream of your body's ability to get ready for next week and to recover from last week. Let's say that's not you. You want to do something a little bit more, but you don't want to put a lot of time into it today. Well, check the post on YouTube. I'm going to put up, I think I put up last week too, a bunch of options for mobility workouts, for yoga workouts, for live stream stuff. There's some cool stuff in Cleveland, as well as some cool stuff on YouTube that you can hop on, whether it's a live class that is donation based or it's a free class that just, you know, is a video that's running on YouTube. There's one that's like a nighttime class that I usually like because it seems really good at helping me down regulate myself physically and mentally. So the goal here is not necessarily that you're doing a different class every weekend per se. It's that you find the right class that allows you to get to that same point too, right? So we have our bottom line one. We have our next one up that's a little bit more work. If we want to do more stuff, there's also the aerobic option, all right? So pick one modality, maybe two. It could be three if you want it to be three, right? Like, you could have a triathlon concept to this if you want to, but something in the realm of like 20 to 60 minutes, maybe 60 depending on if you're that person that is very good at endurance activities, right? Maybe you're an endurance athlete. We're doing the cardio, so to speak, movements, running, riding, rowing, swimming, but we're doing them at a light intensity. I like 60% because that seems like a mental number that keeps people's regulation of their own intensity in a good spot. Now, some of us can probably go higher than that, and we're still not going to, you know, break down and create stressors that are going to be negative and inhibit our ability to recover. But 60% is that good number that we all tend to seem to understand because it's just a little bit more than 50%, right? If I say 80% or if I say 70 or 75%, a lot of times people take that as meaning they can go a little bit harder and a little bit harder because there's a big gap there at the top that, you know, they're not going to push to unless they're really trying to crush themselves. So let's say about 60%, and let's keep it just nice and smooth, right? Now, if you don't do hour-long workouts, do not do an hour-long active recovery workout, okay? If you want to do something that long and you want to move for that long and you want to, let's say, get outside, it's a beautiful day, go for a hike, right? Even if you're tossing a backpack on or maybe a weight vest or something, it's low intensity, there's some resistance there, or maybe you have a 75-pound dog that tends to try and drag you through the trails. There's going to be some work there. But again, it's still active recovery. You're moving, but you're not breaking down, okay? You're moving with the intent of moving and getting yourself going on the recovery trail. Now, the fourth and final one, the one I usually like to do, but I usually like to do with a very controlled intensity, is what I would call an active recovery workout, okay? So I tend to do these in EMOMs. It doesn't need to be an EMOM. It doesn't need to be an AMRAP. It doesn't need to be for time at all. It can just be work. Usually I will go for about 20 to 30 minutes, and sometimes it'll be every minute and a half, every 2 minutes, whatever, but each one has a piece. So there could be 4 to 5, maybe 6 movements, and usually they're all geared at helping me, for lack of a better word, fix something. So I tend to have an imbalance in my hips. It stems from my hamstrings, injuries when I was younger, all kinds of things. But I tend to have an imbalance right to left in the strength, explosiveness, power of my hip extension, so terminal extension. So as you guys are going to see from the video demonstration in a sec, I like to do single leg deadlifts, specifically RDLs is probably a better way of describing them. Single leg Bulgarian split squats, maybe even like a light weighted lunge squat, if you will, split squat. I've been doing a lot of calf raises in different positions, maybe even in a wall sit lately, because I feel like the strength of my feet, the strength of my ankles and my calves is starting to deteriorate a little bit. And with all the running or the more increased running that I've been doing, I think that's something that's going to help me recover, but also get a little bit stronger to the point where it's not going to cause as many problems. So you can also address issues with that. Just keep in mind, when I finish that 30 minutes, I feel good. I do not feel like I necessarily just did a 30-minute workout that I then need to go and recover from. That workout is the recovery, okay? That's the point of it from everything you've done, and to help your body get to a more even symmetrical place, as opposed to beat it down trying to cause a very dramatic adaptation like some of the workouts that we might do. Okay, so that can be customized to pretty much anything. It can be core work. For my example, I'm gonna toss some stability work in, some anti-rotational stuff into mine today. So if you guys want to take that and run with it, or apply other things, if you've been coached by me, I've probably pointed out those things in the past, whether it's in the gym or not. And you can probably come up with some ideas. If not, let me know. We'll figure out what your issues are, how to work on them, how to find some strength balance, maybe how to get some mobility work as well. All right, so having said that, you can make this really simple. Every Sunday can be the same thing if you want it to be. This will be the third week in a row that I'm technically doing the same type of workout. Or you can come up with something new, or you can just head outside. If it's a nice day, move around for an hour or so, do some mulching, something along those lines, right? It's keep moving, because our bodies are machines that want to move. It's going to help us, but be smart, right? If you worked out 5 or 6 days in a row, don't do it again. Find a way to get yourself to recover so that you take advantage of the work you did those 5 or 6 days in a row and you grow from it, right? Like, we don't just work out and crush ourselves for no reason. We want to get better from it, so allow yourself to get better from it. Having said that, if you didn't have a chance to work out all week, feel free to go back and grab one of the days from the week, or one of the under 100 and some days that you've seen before, and use today as one of the workout, all right? Just because my Sunday is the end of the weekend and it's an active recovery day for me does not mean it needs to be for you. We need to learn how to apply all this stuff to ourselves individually, because remember, when it comes to fitness, health, and wellness, the answer is usually, it depends. Alright, so I know you guys just watched a long video. I'm going to run you through what I was describing earlier in terms of my one of my preferred active recovery day workouts real quick, and give you some ideas, and then you can roll from there. So, first thing, one of the things I've been using a lot lately is going to be this small band to work on strengthening the back, the posterior side of my neck, for a lot of postural stuff, right? I've noticed I've been staring at a computer screen, sitting on a couch a lot more than I normally would. So I'm working on strengthening, again, the back side of the neck, the upper part of the traps there, to try and give me a little bit better postural position, so that my neck, I'm not getting headaches like I tend to get from sometimes having overused traps and things like that. Okay. I can also use this band probably in a much lower position, but same kind of idea for a anti-rotational core movement, called a paddle off press. But again, something that's not going to be super stressful. It's not super heavy. It's not super intense, but it is going to give me some positive and beneficial work. Two of the things I described earlier are going to be that single leg RDO with deadlift, right? Something we've done before in a strength type environment. It's obviously just going to be with much lighter weight, probably a rep scheme that isn't going to be extremely taxing. But it is also a chance for me to toss in some tempo eccentric work to try and work on my stability, my balance, and my strength side to side in terms of distribution of strength balance. One of the other things I described earlier was a Bulgarian split squat. I have a little roller here that I can set my back foot and leg on.
You can do it on a bench, you can do it on a couch, pretty much anything, chair, what have you. Okay. Remember, focuses are low intensity, light weights, control. Let's call this quality work. Have fun. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.